all companies should improvise. There's plenty of people who will talk about agility and responsiveness, and it may seem redundant to throw the word improvisation in there. But I'm going to be talking about some ideas and some skills that improvisation as a performance uses that you can use in your business to actually become more agile and more responsive and really get more competitive. Now, I'm sure most of you are familiar with some forms of improvisation. There's short form improv, that's embodied by the likes of Whose Line Is It Anyway? There's also long form improv that is embodied by the likes of Second City in Chicago and the Upright Citizens Brigade. Now, they're very different forms, but they share common ideas that allow them to be successful. So consider this, it's not easy to be funny every night when all you have are the skills and experience that you bring on stage with you. In the same way, it's not easy to excel at business every day when all you have are the skills and experience that you bring into the office, so we have a parallel there. Now, one of the most well-known tenets of improv is the principle of yes and. In everyday life, we tend to deny new ideas, we like to maintain a comfortable status quo. But with the philosophy of yes and, we embrace new ideas and we work to develop them. When someone presents you with a new idea, you don't deny it, you agree with it, you accept it as if it was your own, and then you work to advance the new concept. Denying ideas on stage in improv is disastrous. If one actor said, hey, let's go to the zoo, and the other one said, oh, I don't feel like it, what you're going to have is two guys on stage doing nothing. It's not very funny. If, however, they said, yes, and let's steal a monkey while we're there, well, what you've got now are opportunities for comedy that didn't exist before. In the same way, when you're considering new ideas, when you're trying to solve problems, or when you're brainstorming to grow your company, just spending time yes-anding your colleagues can take you to places that you wouldn't normally have got to. Now, part of being open to new ideas is actually respecting them. We're taught that respect is something that you should earn, and that is something that applies to people and little green guys. But ideas come from everywhere. Even your most junior employees are bright, intelligent people. If they're not, maybe you shouldn't have picked them. But putting that aside, it doesn't matter who they are, the ideas are what should be respected. And if you focus on respecting ideas, regardless of where they come from, it can really invigorate your business. Now, improv teaches us to suppress our egos. Everyone on stage should be pushing towards the best show possible. Everyone in your company should be pushing to the best results possible. And this is only possible if everybody is focusing on the end goal and nobody is trying to make themselves look good. Everyone should suppress their ego and defer it to the end goal. Improv actually takes it one step further. Not only do you suppress your ego, but we follow the mantra of treating everybody like a rock star. If someone comes to you with a new idea, you don't pick it apart, you don't criticize it. You embrace it like it is the best thing you've ever heard. You run with it as far as you can, adding your own ideas so that a trip to the zoo becomes an attempt to steal a monkey. Now, it's more than that. You also need to work out how to make connections. Connections between ideas are critical. They could be connections to ideas that are outside of your discussion that you bring in. Or they could be connections to ideas that were previously raised that you bring back to the fore. But you can only make connections if you're listening to people. We spend a lot of time, day to day, hearing what people say. We spend half of our brain figuring out what we're going to say before the other person has even expressed the idea that they're trying to get across to you. In improv, you're taught to listen, to really listen and then respond. There is no way that you can make connections to new ideas if you're not listening for new ideas. Now, if you've managed to achieve all of this, then at some point you will get to the state of what we call group mind. Now, group mind is something if you have participated in team sports, if you've acted on stage, or even if you played a really good game of Pictionary or a really good game of Taboo, you've probably experienced group mind. It's that moment when you're engaged in an activity with a group of people and all of a sudden everything just works. You're all in sync, everything's meshing together, and something that really ought to be difficult is happening almost effortlessly. For most of you, this will be an intermittent experience, and you won't know why it happens. Well, in improv, we're taught that it's the ideal state. If you suppress your ego, if you listen in the moment, if you treat everybody like a rock star and you work to make connections, group mind becomes an inevitability. And if you can get to a point in your company where everyone is achieving group mind, you can achieve great things. The next step, take some improv classes. You can go to the theater that I go to, the New Movement, or you can just Google Austin Improv. You'll get a big list of all the theaters, and there are many in Austin, and you can learn more. Thank you very much.